If you've ever looked at all the Delta credit cards and thought, which one actually makes sense and what's the best strategy to use it, then this video is for you. Because the truth is, most people build their airline setups completely backwards. They jump straight into the premium cards before learning how to earn the right points, how to use the right multipliers, and how to time the redemptions. Today, we're fixing that with the simple Delta wallet. This is the cleanest 3-card setup that actually earns you more SkyMiles without overcomplicating your life. I'll break down which Delta cards are genuinely worth it, how airline credit cards fit into your overall wallet strategy, and exactly how to make membership rewards points and SkyMiles work together for maximum value. We'll cover which cards to start with, how they stack, and how to know if Delta even deserves a spot in your wallet. Then we'll dive into a full 2-year spend analysis so you can see exactly how the numbers work. And if you enjoy this content, give this video a like and subscribe for more credit card strategy and analysis just like this. Also, check the description below if you want the wallet companion guide, plus the spreadsheet analysis discussed in this video. Alright, let's get into it. This is your blueprint for flying smarter. Let's set the stage. First, why go with Delta? I'll give you some of my thoughts on the airline, and also how you can tell if this airline-focused strategy is right for you. Now for me personally, Delta is my main airline of choice. To give you an example, I flew about 13 times in the last 2 years. 8 of those times were with Delta. And in that span, I had maybe one delay, and it was for like 30 minutes. For reference, in that same span, I flew Alaskan Airlines 3 times. One of those was a canceled flight that was rebooked for the next morning. Another had an hour delay. That contrast matters, and it's part of how I choose my core airline. Now, Delta is by no means perfect, and I think we all know no airline is, but the stats back up that it tends to outperform many others when it comes to consistency. In 2024, Delta's on-time arrival rate, defined by arriving within 15 minutes of the schedule, was at about 83%, which places them near the top for among US carriers. To put it another way, more often than not, a Delta flight will show up close to when it's supposed to. This will give you fewer surprises, fewer missed connections, and fewer "I'm cooked" moments. That reliability is what I like the most about them, especially flying out of JFK, my home base, where Delta already has a strong presence and a ton of routes. Now that being said, this strategy, and more specifically airline strategies in general, aren't for everyone. It only pays off when your behavior supports it. Now here's how to figure out if it will work for you. Now you need to be flying Delta at least 2 to 3 times per year. If you never or rarely fly with them, you won't unlock enough value to justify putting so much weight into Delta cards. Now a great tip here is to check airline dominance at your home airport. Even if Delta is your favorite, if you only can fly 5% of the flights out of your local airport, this strategy isn't for you. In contrast, at JFK, Delta has a huge presence, so it's super easy for me to always hop on a Delta flight and get value from these cards. To check here, run a quick Google search asking what percentage of X airline makes up your chosen airport. You'll be able to see Delta 25%, United 30%, etc. Another tip is to review your last 2 years of flights. Pull up your flight history, either from credit card statements, airline logs, or travel apps, and write down each trip you took, which airline you flew from, and which departure city you left from. Take a look for patterns. If Delta shows up frequently, then investing in Delta-aligned cards will compound your rewards over time. If it's scattered, with multiple airlines and no consistency, a more flexible travel wallet might be a smarter option. Now, before we dive into the specific Delta wallets, let's zoom out for a second and talk about the fundamental idea behind building a strong credit card setup. Every great wallet starts with 2 main layers: your core spend cards and your perks or benefit cards. Your core cards are your workhorses. Those are the ones you're going to be putting all of your everyday spend on. Within that core, there's 2 types of cards. You have your catch-all cards that give something solid like 2% or 2x back. Default that for everything. Any miscellaneous spend that you don't have a multiplier for, this is the perfect card for. Then you have your multiplier cards. These are category specific, and likely they're cards meant for 1 or 2 things. You'll have your dining cards, your streaming cards, your gym cards, your gas cards, etc. Now the more of these multiplier cards you have, the higher your overall return on spend will be. But there's a trade-off. The more cards you add, the more complex your setup becomes. So the real goal isn't to collect as many cards as possible. It's to find that sweet spot between the setup that gives you the highest return on spend with the fewest number of cards. That's what I consider true optimization and simplicity. Once your core is in a great place, you can start to layer in benefit cards on top, And those are the ones that add specific perks for your lifestyle. That might be lounge access, travel credits, elite statuses at hotels or airlines, or something else. For this series, and especially in today's episode, we're going to be following this exact framework. Start with a catch-all card that covers your base spend efficiently. Layer in specialist cards to build out that core setup and maximize every major category. And then add in your benefit cards, tailored to the wallet and travel habits you want. This could be things like priority boarding, free checked bags, lounge access, etc. Now that's the foundation of every winning wallet. A smart, structured system that gives you the most value without overcomplicating your life. All right, that's enough theory. Let's put this system to work. So on the screen right now, we have the whiteboard from Rich with Points. If you've ever checked out that website, it's awesome. And if you haven't, I highly recommend it. Also, check out his channel. He's a great YouTuber also. So here we're just going over the basic strategy along with some bonus tips and some advice. Now the basic strategy here is you're going to earn with Amex membership rewards points, pairing a catch-all with the category specific cards. Then you're going to transfer those MR points to Delta and redeem using the Delta portal, taking advantage of the Takeoff 15, which is a 15% redemption bonus that you get with certain Delta cards. Now for these tips, first, if you can, look for transfer bonuses. Sometimes Amex has it. It's rare. It hasn't happened in a couple years, so just keep in mind for that. Next is that the best value is going to be coming from Delta flash sales. So sometimes for these, the flights can be anywhere from 50% off. You know, I saw something last week or 2 weeks ago where there was a flight from New York City to Dublin for 22,000 points round trip. Granted, it was an economy flight, which is a long one, but for 22,000 points, you can't beat it. Next, you want to try and aim for a point redemption between 1.2 and 1.5 cents per point. That's for a really solid deal. If you get less than that, it depends on where you're going. It depends on where you're flying and your timeline and stuff. But 1.2 to 1.5 is what I normally try and look for. So now let's take a look at the Delta cards in general. Right, you got 4 cards. The first is the Delta Blue. Who is that one for? No one. You shouldn't be getting this card, in my opinion. It's a good downgrade option if you want to not close a card because of the no annual fee. So 0 annual fee, not the best multipliers. Perks, not great. We're not going to touch on it. We're not going to talk about it. It's really nothing. Next, you got the Delta Gold. This is going to be the bread and butter for, I would say, 90% of people. It's perfect for solo travelers and those who are booking individual itineraries and will also fly with Delta at least twice a year. Now, this is 0 annual fee in the first year, and then it jumps to 150 thereafter. The multipliers aren't great, but the perks are where this card this is where the bread and butter is for this card. It's the perks. First is you have the first checked bag free. You also have the Takeoff 15, which is a 15% discount, along with a $100 Delta Stays credit and a $200 flight credit after you spend $10K on the card. In my opinion, I wouldn't spend the multipliers on this card. It's not worth it. You're better off just spending on the MR, on the Amexes for the MR points. The welcome offer is great on this card, though. Currently, it's 80,000 miles after 3K spend in 6 months. This expires in October, end of October. So if you want one of these cards, hop on this deal. I have a link in the description for some referrals to all of these elevated offers. So I definitely think if there's a time to jump on it, it's now, or you're going to want to wait for one of these elevated offers. Next, you have the Delta Platinum. The real difference here between the two, you have the higher annual fee, but the main kind of draw of this card, one, you get the 2,500 MQDs. That'll help towards status. But the main thing is the companion certification. So it's essentially a buy one, get one free flight anywhere in the US and a couple places in the Caribbean. And it can be used, it's almost a guaranteed $300 back. Now, the key here is you have to be flying with a player 2. And also as long as you don't mind using credits, I think this card, it's very easy to get that effective annual fee down to 0. This one also comes with a welcome offer right now, 90,000 miles for 4K in spend in 6 months. Now, the last card is the SkyMiles Reserve. This is a tricky one because, in my opinion, I don't recommend this card. It's good if you're looking for status because you get that 25 MQDs with a bonus multiplier. You also get a premium companion cert, so that qualifies for, I believe, first class also, business and first class, as opposed to the platinum that's just economy. You also get TSA pre-check, a couple extra credits, some higher value credits, and a better welcome offer. All right, so now that we know the cards, we know the strategy, let's take a look at the first wallet setup. So the first wallet here, I call it the simple setup because it's super easy, right? You really have two spend cards and you have your benefit cards. First card is the Blue Business Plus. And before you ask, 99% of people can get approved for this business card. If you have any sort of side hustle, side business, anything that generates any sort of extra money, you can likely get approved for this. And it's one of the best catch-all cards out there because one, it's 2x on everything. And because Amex points are worth so high at almost 2 cents a piece, it's an effective 4% card when you look at it like that, right? You get your 2x, and if it's valued at 2 times, that's where you get that 4%. Now, for this card, it's a no annual fee. And the beauty is it gives you access to membership rewards points. So it's good to keep your membership rewards points alive if you want to cancel, let's say, gold, green, a platinum, something like that. Next, you have the gold, right? This is really your main category spender. It's 4x on restaurants, 4x on groceries, 3x on flights booked through the portal. You also get a $325 annual fee, and what comes with that is an $84 Dunkin' credit, a $100 Resi credit, $120 in Uber Cash, $120 in dining for Grubhub, and then also you get a $100 hotel credit. Now this one, really you're looking for those multipliers. You're looking for simplicity, right? You're pulling this card out for your restaurants and your groceries. You're trying to take advantage of as many credits as possible, and you're kind of going from there. Everything else you're putting on the Amex Blue Business Plus. Now the last card is your Delta card. This is your SkyMiles Gold. Now for this one, it's 0 annual fee in the first year and then $150 thereafter. The perk for this one, the real main perk, is the checked bag free. So if you're flying Delta 2 to 3 times a year, this is paying for this card right off the bat, right? You got to assume about $35 per way for a checked bag. So it's around $70 round trip. So if you're flying twice a year at $70, $140, it essentially pays for itself there. So now that we have an idea of the cards for this wallet, I want to drill into some of the spend. So we're going to start off here, right? I have this breakout, and all this information, right? This doc, I'm going to put in the description below if you guys want it. Play around with it, take a look at the numbers, plug in your own values here. For this area here, I looked at what the estimated New York City spend is. My thought process here is that the demographic for this card, for this strategy, it's going to be in big Delta hubs, right? Atlanta, Boston, New York City, right? You're going to have really high spend on dining, groceries, likely transit. And then you have your travel stuff here, your streaming, your gas, and then all other. I tried to keep it simple but realistic. Now to take things one step at a time, right? We're going to go over the sign-up bonus analysis here. So for sign-up bonuses, we have our 3 core cards. Then we have our year 2 strategy. So for your core card, you have a $15,000 membership rewards bonus, 100,000 membership rewards bonus, and then 80,000 SkyMiles bonus, right? So total in year 1, your MR, you're looking at 115,000 membership rewards points. Your SkyMiles, you're looking at 80,000. And I'm assuming, right, you have your point valuations down here, 2 cents for Amex. Your Delta point valuation is 1.2 cents per point. Now, the tough part here that you have to take into account, even though you're earning membership rewards, if you're transferring everything to Delta, you're going to have to value these points in Delta. So it devalues your membership rewards points a little bit going this strategy. Now, with that being said, right, you're never going to get 2 cents per point if you're flying domestically, or at least not often. So I think this route's fine. It also gives you the flexibility. If you don't want to put all of your membership rewards points into SkyMiles, you don't have to. So going off that, if we transferred all of this to Delta, you're looking at a cash value here of about $2,340 for sign-up bonuses. At $12,000 in spend, that puts you on a return to spend of about 19.5%, which is really solid. We'll go into year 2 in a second, but now let's take a look here at the annual spend. So based off these spend categories, right, you're plugging in your multipliers. You got your 4x for dining and groceries. Your transit, you're at 2x. Travel, you're at 3x here, and that's for the gold. You're at 2x for everything else. So you come out to a $35,000 spend for the year with about 96K in membership rewards points. That comes out to an estimated $1,100 in travel value per year, which comes out to around 3.3% back annually. Now, this is something interesting to note, right? Because just over 3%. In my opinion, the goal you should be looking for is close to 5. So as you'll see with some of these other wallets, if you add more cards, that number will go up. It's going to take more work. So it's about kind of playing that game, right? Do you want a simple 3% or do you want a harder 5%? And that's the call that you have to make. Now that we finished spend here, right, I want to just take a quick look at the cards and perks here. That way we can pull out the annual fees and what we're looking at for credits. So the notes here, as you guys take this over, populate your own effective annual fees here. I just did this for myself living in New York, right? So for me, I'm going to value the Dunkin' credit full. I got a Dunkin' right next to where I work. This is an easy slam dunk, 84 bucks a year. The full Resi credit, right? There's tons of Resis in New York. This is another easy one. I valued the Uber credit at $60 and the Grubhub at $30. So it comes out to $274 in usable credits for me. For the Delta Gold, I fly Delta enough where, I can get at least 2 round trips out of this. So I'm calling this $140 for me. Platinum we'll go into in a second. So now we're going to come up here to our year 1 through 3 analysis. So here, right, we have our annual fee. We have our sign-up bonus that we talked about. We have the earn, which is pulling from the annual spend analysis, and you have your credits. So that pulls out your total cost for the year, your total travel. Comes out to around $3,500, $3,600 of total travel earned for the year, which is frankly great, right? I think the key here is with these sign-up bonuses, you're going to be earning a lot of travel value, likely more than a lot of people can use, right? You can see down here, I have a section over here for average flights and the round trip cost of those flights. So for $397, and obviously, right, $397, you can get flights for $50 if you fly Alaska or Frontier. I'm just using the average, and I just pulled this from Google. So feel free to populate this with more kind of relevant numbers for yourself. I also have an international number here where, depending on where you're flying, that's probably high. I've flown internationally before for $700, $800 round trip, but it's a good approximation, right? And the goal here is to just take a look and see, with this amount, you can get conservatively, I'd say 9 round trip domestic flights in that year, or you can get around 3 international flights. And that's just using it at face value. If we use some of those flash sales like we talked about earlier, you're going to get significantly more value. Now, I know I was looking the other day, there was a flash sale to Madrid that I think was, 15 or 20,000 SkyMiles round trip with the Take 15. There was the Dublin to JFK one that was around 25 and change. So there's value to be had. The strategy there is going to be, if you can and you're flexible with the days you can travel, sit on those SkyMiles, not forever, but sit and wait for a flash sale to come out, because they will, where it's a great place that you want to go, and kind of pounce right then and there. The other option is, you use these for the flights you want, and you're kind of slow and methodical, right? You take some membership rewards points, you transfer them over, you go on a flight. Always keep these points if you can. I would say keep them in membership rewards as opposed to in SkyMiles, just because, right, once you transfer them in, you're not going to be able to transfer them back out. And keeping them in membership rewards gives you flexibility in case there's another crazy redemption available. For example, if you're traveling to, let's say, Florida, and there's a Hilton you want to stay at, and there's a crazy Hilton bonus. Once you transfer those MR points in, they're kind of stuck with Delta. To only transfer in what you need. If you want to transfer in more, just know you can't transfer it back out. Okay, so now that we got year 1 done, for year 2, I have two breakdowns here. The first is if you want to just keep the gold, which I think is a very valuable option if you don't want to be spending the annual fees and you don't really want to be dealing too much with credits. You're still going to have the credits with the Amex gold. I think just keeping the Delta gold could be a solid move. It's also just such a simple value proposition, right? I fly Delta, I get my checked bags free, it pays for itself. Now, that being said, the Delta Platinum it's very easy, I would say, to get that effective annual fee to 0. I think if you can book one solid Delta trip a year, you basically get that to 0, because you have your $300 companion pass, roughly, right? Your buy one, get one free, depending on where you're flying. You also have a couple other credits that go with that one that can further enhance this value of this card that'll drive that effective fee lower. So going off that, one interesting part here too to note, and it's gonna show up in the next wallet also, is that for most times you don't want to be spending on these cards, but because we're in this scenario, we're transferring everything over to Delta, it actually makes sense to use, and I have the note here, right? For travel and hotels, it jumps to 3x with the Platinum in year 2 if you redeem for only SkyMiles. If you transfer out to other partners, you want to keep your Amex 2X here because it's going to be worth more at 2 cents per point. So I layered that into the number here, right? You have your 3X times 5,000, which would be the 15,000, which comes out here. And then you have your other multipliers here. That's the only change here. But you can see it bumps you up to just under 3.5%. Now coming out here, right, you can see year one, that's the big sign up bonus. That's what's driving that. Year two, there's no sign up bonus with the assumption of just keeping the gold. Year two with the platinum, we're looking at a sign up bonus. It's not as good as year one, but we're still solid. And then year three, that's when kind of the full strategy comes to fruition. That's when you finally get that companion certificate. You don't get it right when you apply for the card. You get it after your first year. So just keep in mind there. Now, some notes and some added value from the setup, right? So as we talked about earlier, simplicity is key here. 2 spend cards, and it takes most of the guesswork out of this. Next, you have your flexibility. You have your MR points that you can save for other redemption, whether that's international or hotels. Let's see, next here, right, we have the aspect of the free checked bags. So the more you travel, the better that value is going to be because you're going to be getting more value out of those checked bags every single extra time you travel. Next, it wasn't mentioned here, but you get priority boarding. It's not going to be top tier, but I think it's zone 5. So it's good enough where if you do have a carry-on, you're never probably going to have to check that in. You're going to be able to get to your seat, kind of chill, as opposed to now when I fly, I'm always zone 8, 9, 10. And so when I'm coming on the plane, I'm lucky if I can find a spot for my carry-on. You also get the takeoff 15 that we mentioned, as well as a few extra credits that I didn't value in here, but there's some value, right? You have your $100 Delta Stays credit, $100 Amex Gold credit for hotels. You also had the additional 60 for Uber and 90 for Grubhub if you can use it. And then the last year, right, we got a note down here. After year one, if you fly with a P2, right, you want to get the platinum. Even if you don't fly with a P2, it could be worthwhile, depending on your situation, if you want to go for the sign-up bonus along with the companion certificate. You also get that 25,000 MQDs towards status. And for reference on the status, right, silver status is 5,000 MQDs. So 25,000 gets you 50% of the way there. It's a little deceiving though, because the other 50% is 50,000 spend on the card or a decent amount of spend on towards Amex flights, towards Delta flights. So just keep that in mind, right? You're close to status with this, but unless you're spending high amounts, it's going to be tough to get that status. Now, some application timeline rules here. First, you're going to want to look for the welcome offer on either the Amex Gold or the Delta. And if there's an elevated welcome offer like there is now, I would jump on, either of those right away. Start that process now. Work on that sign-up bonus and get that card sorted out, hopefully in the first 1 to 3 months. After that, you're going to keep monitoring for any other welcome offers available that are elevated. From there, if there is a welcome offer that's elevated there, pull the trigger on that card. Also work on that sign-up bonus. If there isn't, try and get the Blue Business Plus at that point and kind of prolong to wait out until that next kind of elevated welcome offer comes up. Now, in month 4 plus, if no welcome offer comes up, right, the base offers, are they the best? Probably not, but they're decent for sure. And it's definitely worth picking up. That way you can kickstart that value and then, kickstart that plan of after a year transitioning to the platinum. And then like we mentioned, right, when it comes to switching to the platinum, you want to wait the full year. So after you get the gold, you're going to have a 0 annual fee. Wait the full year until your fee posts, right? It's going to be $150. When that happens, call up Amex, check for a retention offer. Maybe they give you one, maybe they don't. Amex is normally pretty generous when it comes to their welcome offers, their retention offers. So you might get lucky. If you don't, then you have a decision to make. Do you want to keep the gold and just rock with it, $150 per year? Or do you want to try and downgrade that to the blue? That way you don't have to have a canceled credit on your history and then apply for the platinum for that sign-up bonus. A couple last things to remind you here, right? So you have your Amex rule. So you have your 2 and 90. So you don't want to apply for more than 2 cards in 90 days because, you'll automatically get denied if you have more than 2 cards. Next, you have your 5-card rule with Amex, which says you can't have more than 5 credit cards with Amex. This doesn't include charge cards, though, like the green, the gold, and the platinum. Okay, so that's wallet 1 done. And that's the simple Delta wallet. 3 cards, 1 simple system, and 0 wasted spend. This is the foundation every Delta traveler should start with before leveling up to more advanced, hybrid, or premium setups. Now, if you found this breakdown helpful, subscribe, and grab the free Delta Wallet Companion Guide and Spend Analysis linked below. It includes everything we covered in this video, plus some helpful tips on redemptions and also status. And after this video, Watch Wallet 2, where we discuss the hybrid setup, which pairs membership rewards points plus cash back, taking this same exact framework and making it even more flexible. You'll see exactly how to pay for flights with cashback while still earning transferable points. I'll see you there. Peace.